thanks to the Biden administration and legislation passed last November, this was tucked away on page 403 of an enormous bill. The federal government is mandating that kill switches be installed in automobiles built after 2025. So 3 years out, folks, and then the government's going to be able to kill your engine. Now, of course, like all government overreach, they say this is a good thing. They have a good excuse for it. Essentially, the program is the technology will be able to passively monitor the performance, quote, of all drivers, suggesting that the system will be on at all times. The idea behind it is that the authorities will be able to shut off your vehicle if you're driving erratically or seem to be impaired. Think alcohol there. We've already been thinking about different applications for this. Certainly police departments are thinking about ways that they can stop high-speed chases early, and it's great that they wouldn't risk civilian deaths. The problem is, do we really want government officials, most of whom are non-elected, being able to stop our cars whenever they want?
No.
That to me seems like a ridiculous infringement on our personal rights. But am I really just being a libertarian here, Abby?
No.
Or is this,
but I mean,
this unbelievable?
No, I think it's unbelievable. But, you know, there is kind of the bleeding heart argument that will always be there of, you know, think how many drunk driver deaths you could avoid. And because, I mean, it's true. Everybody has car accidents. There are numerous car accident related deaths. And so there's always going to be the bleeding heart argument of, well, the government could so easily stop all this needless death.
Yep.
But no, it's absolutely insane because all the death that they can stop, they can also just stop completely ordinary people.
Yeah. And with potentially no good reason. You imagine that if the technology does go and it catches on, that the situation will be one where the government can flip the switch and then explain itself later. They're not going to have to go get a bench warrant before they do this.
Right.
Yeah. This is going to be on the spot. They can do it whenever they want. And that's an enormous problem. Tara, you're 12 years old and will be driving soon. Do you fear that this could be used against everyday ordinary citizens for almost any reason?
I think so. I'm skeptical any time that we've seen any kind of government overreach. I don't think it even really matters whether or not it's like has good intentions, because we've seen what good intentions from the government bring. I mean, we went from 2 weeks to slow the spread and whatever, help our hospitals stay, and now we're 2 years later. And so I think any opportunity we have to say no to the government, we absolutely should.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I can't imagine a scenario where, well, you know what it feels like? It feels like some sort of an analog to what they have in North Korea. They have, they have TVs and radios in North Korea that broadcast perpetual propaganda, and you can't turn them off. And that was a 1984 thing, right?
Oh yeah.
You could. That was the thing. Big Brother would come on and talk with you, and then they do their stupid little exercise regime, and then Big Brother would say some other stuff, and you could turn it down, but you could never turn it off. And that was the government intruding into your home. Mm-hmm. And I can't think of this as anything other than the government intruding into your vehicle. You can do all sorts of things to protect people. You can restrict rights like crazy, and you can make sure that, we can make sure people never die in another car accident by stopping the use of automobiles tomorrow. But is it worth it? No, it's absolutely not. At some point, you have to trust the citizens of your nation to behave in a responsible manner. Tara, that kind of thing brings to mind, I think it was Madison's quote, that the Constitution, the form of government we have, is only fit for a religious people. And what he was saying there is that kind of self-government really only works if you've got a people who are virtuous.
Yeah.
And so as we see kind of virtue decline publicly, do you think we're going to see more laws come along that are like this, that are cradle to grave? And
I think so. I would wish we had say no. I think back to just 5 years ago, and I remember thinking that the stuff we're seeing now is stuff I would see when I was 80, not when I'm 21, not 12. But it's just, in all jokes aside, I think it's really, really scary. And so when you have people who constantly think they're entitled to something or that something belongs to them, that there's not this like natural feeling where it's like, I want to take care of myself. I want to do things for myself. I don't even understand where that comes from, but it's just like this general entitlement. And so if the government's going to come in and be like, oh yeah, you are entitled to that, you're actually entitled to all of these things, and we'll just cradle you until your death, I don't see it stopping.
So, Abby, is it insane for me to think, okay, 10, 15 years down the line, the Green New Deal somehow gets passed, or a toothier version of it? Is it crazy to envision a future where, well, you've used up all of your car pollution credits for the week on Thursday, they flip the switch, no car for you until next Monday? Is that nuts? It may be. I'm just curious what you think.
I don't think it's that nuts.
Just a little nuts.
Just a little nuts.
Just a little nuts. But it's that's what bothers me about this is that, and slippery slopes are logical fallacies. We know that. But if you get to the point where the government can prevent you from traveling for certain reasons, why can't they prevent you from traveling for other reasons?
And if they're always going to be arguing from the moral high ground of like, well, we're doing this for the good of...
for the children.
It's for the good of the people and the good of the environment, which is the good of the planet.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're already taking that level, it's like, well, that's pretty much a lost cause when someone is just determined that they're on the high ground.
Yeah.